Ever feel like you're just scratching the surface of what you're capable of? Like there's this untapped potential inside just waiting to explode.
Yeah, that feeling of there's got to be more to life than this.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today. We're exploring this awesome Stanford Business School lecture by entrepreneur Graham Weaver. It's called Unlocking Your Full Potential, and it is seriously good stuff. You ready to unlock some secrets?
Let's unlock them.
All right, so Weaver kicks things off with this story, and it's a little out there. He describes a woman who goes to the doctor complaining about these terrible headaches. But here's the thing.
There's always a thing.
Oh, there is! This woman, she's got a nail sticking out of her head.
Okay, ouch.
Right, that's gonna be a killer headache. But as crazy as it sounds, it's Weaver's way of illustrating a really important point.
It's like, hello, wake up call.
Exactly. He's saying we all have these nails in our lives.
Things that are so obvious to everyone else, but we often avoid dealing with them.
We're kind of blind to our own nails, aren't we?
Totally. And these nails can be anything. Bad habits,
Right.
past hurts, those limiting beliefs that just won't quit.
Fear, even, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Fear is a big one. And these things, they hold us back from really living our lives to the fullest.
So it's not about a literal nail sticking out of our heads.
Thankfully, no.
It's more like a metaphor for those things that are holding us back, preventing us from unlocking our full potential. But why do we do this? Why do we avoid dealing with these things? Like, if you had a nail in your head,
You'd think it'd be the first thing you'd want to take care of.
right, so why do we let these nails linger?
Well, Weaver argues it's a two-part problem. First, we haven't truly admitted the problem to ourselves. We might make excuses or downplay it, but deep down we know it's there, holding us back.
We're experts at self-deception, aren't we?
It's like we try to ignore that leaky faucet, hoping it'll magically fix itself.
Exactly. But ignoring it doesn't make it go away.
Nope. And the second reason we avoid our nails is that change is uncomfortable. Even when we know it's for the better, there's a part of us that wants to stay in our comfort zone.
Because it's familiar, right? Even if it's not where we want to be.
Exactly. It's easier to stay stuck than to face the unknown, even if the unknown holds the potential for something amazing.
So step one on this journey to unlocking our full potential is acknowledging our nails, those things that are holding us back.
Confronting those uncomfortable truths head on.
Easier said than done, right? So how do we actually figure out what our nails are?
This is where self-awareness comes in. And to illustrate this, Weaver shares a really relatable story about a time he felt stuck. He was working at this company and he was miserable. He described it as PowerPoint old school. Endless bullet points, boring presentations. You get the picture.
Sounds thrilling. Not.
Right. So they have this company offsite, and Weaver's just not feeling it.
Can't say I blame him.
So he decides to sneak out during a break. He changes into his running clothes and goes for a run.
Like a true rebel.
I know, right? He even puts on a red bandana like Rocky.
No, that's how you make a statement.
Totally.
Oh.
So he's running, he gets that runner's high, and suddenly he hears this voice inside his head.
His conscience is speaking.
Right. And it says, you don't have to do this. This isn't you.
Wow. Talk about a wake-up call.
Right. It's like his inner voice was saying, what are you doing with your life? This isn't who you were meant to be.
So did he quit his job right then and there?
Well, not on the spot, but this run was a turning point. It made him realize he had a choice, continue down a path that made him unhappy, or listen to that voice urging him to change.
So what did he do?
Well, he did have a pretty funny encounter with some coworkers while shadowboxing in a restaurant window.
Wait, what? Shadowboxing?
We'll get to that. But the bigger point is that he eventually did leave that job and started his own company.
He finally listened to that inner voice.
He did. But here's where Weaver challenges conventional wisdom. He says that the whole follow your passion advice is actually bad advice.
Wait, what? But follow your passion is like the golden rule.
I know, right? It seems counterintuitive. But Weaver has a good reason for saying that.
Okay, follow your passion might not be the best advice. So what's the alternative? How do we figure out what to pursue in life if not passion?
Well, Weaver suggests focusing on your energy instead.
Energy. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So instead of trying to find that one passion, which can feel super limiting, he says, pay attention to what energizes you. What gets you excited? What are you naturally drawn to?
That makes a lot of sense. It's less about this big predefined passion and more about tuning into what makes you feel alive right now.
Exactly. And it takes the pressure off, right? It's not about having all the answers. It's about being open to exploring different paths and seeing where your energy leads you.
So how do we practically apply this follow your energy advice? How do we actually figure out what energizes us?
Weaver has this really cool exercise called 9 lives.
9 lives. Okay, I'm listening.
So imagine you have 9 parallel universes, 9 different lives you could be living.
Okay, this is already getting interesting.
Right. So life number 1, that's your current reality.
Mm.
The other 8 lives, those are where you let your imagination run wild. What are you doing in those lives? Where are you living? Who are you with? Don't hold back, dream big.
I love this. It's like a choose your own adventure for your life. So once we have our 9 lives mapped out, what do we do with them?
There are 2 ways to use this exercise. First, look for ways to pull elements from those other lives, the ones that really excite you, into your current life. So let's say in one of your lives you're a world-renowned chef.
Oh, okay, I can get behind that.
Maybe you start taking cooking classes, or you experiment with new recipes, or you finally book that trip to Italy you've been dreaming of.
So it's about finding those little ways to bring those energizing aspects into your present reality.
Exactly. And the second way to use the 9 lives exercise is to ask yourself, of all 9 lives, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail?
Oh, wow. That is a powerful question.
It really forces you to be honest with yourself, to cut through all the what-ifs and self-doubt. Because, let's face it, fear of failure holds a lot of us back.
Big time. We're so afraid of messing up that we sometimes don't even try.
And that's what this exercise is all about, identifying what you truly want, what you would go after if you knew you couldn't fail. It's about finding your North Star, that guiding light that helps you navigate towards a more fulfilling life.
I love that analogy of the North Star. It's like that thing you can always orient yourself towards no matter what challenges come your way.
Precisely. It gives you direction, a sense of purpose.
Okay, so we've talked about identifying our nails and following our energy. What's next on this journey to unlocking our full potential?
Well, this is where Weaver introduces the idea of going all in.
Mm-hmm.
He says that one of the biggest energy drains, one of the things that really holds us back, is being hedged. You know, that feeling of holding back, of not fully committing to something.
Oh, yeah, I've been there. It's like that 1 foot in, 1 foot out approach to life.
Exactly. And it can show up in so many areas of our lives, right?
Mhm.
Our careers, relationships, personal goals.
We're always second guessing ourselves, wondering what if instead of just going for it.
And Weaver believes that this hesitancy, this lack of full commitment, actually prevents us from accessing our full power.
Because we're not fully invested.
Exactly. We're holding back, playing it safe, and it ends up draining our energy.
So how do we break free from that? How do we learn to go all in?
Well, Weaver actually shares a really personal story to illustrate this point. Remember he talked about wanting to be a guest lecturer at Stanford?
Yeah, and how he totally bombed his first time.
Right. Well, he goes on to share that even though he's achieved a lot, even he still experiences self-doubt. After that first lecture, he was convinced he had failed, and that inner critic just went into overdrive.
I find that so reassuring. It's like even someone as accomplished as Weaver still struggles with those voices.
Absolutely. It's so human, right?
Right.
But here's the thing. After that lecture, a student named Sarah approached him.
Sarah, I have a good feeling about her.
Me too. So Sarah tells Weaver how much she enjoyed his case study, and then she asks him this question that completely changes his perspective.
Okay, I gotta know, what was the question?
She asks, how did you overcome your fear of failure?
Wow, straight to the point.
Right. And in that moment, Weaver realizes that even though he felt like he bombed, he's still connected with at least one person in that room on a deeper level.
That's such an important reminder. We never know how we're impacting others, even when we feel like we've fallen short.
Absolutely. Our efforts, they have a ripple effect, and we might not always see it, but it's there.
So what happened with Weaver and his teaching? Did he give up after that first attempt?
He didn't. Sarah's question, it was like this spark that reignited his passion for teaching.
It reminded him why he wanted to do it in the first place.
Exactly. And from that point on, he decided to go all in. He was going to commit fully to his teaching, all his energy and passion to it, and see what happened.
Well, it did happen.
Well, his teaching career flourished. He went from that one case study a year to giving lectures, leading workshops, and eventually teaching his own full course at Stanford.
Wow, that's amazing. Talk about proof that going all in can lead to incredible growth.
It's not always easy, but it's so worth it. And as Weaver fully embraced his teaching, something interesting happened. He noticed he had more energy, not less.
Wait, really? You'd think pouring more energy into something would leave you feeling drained.
It might seem counterintuitive, But Weaver believes that a lot of burnout comes from that friction, that stress and tension we feel when we're not living in alignment with our true selves.
Hmm.
When you're doing something you love, something you're passionate about, it doesn't feel like work.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where passion and action align. That's when we tap into a deeper well of energy and motivation.
Exactly. And this brings us back to the idea of going all in. It's not just about a specific goal or dream, it's about committing to living your life full power.
That's a powerful concept. So we've covered a lot of ground here, confronting our nails, following our energy, and going all in. What would you say is the most important message Weaver wants listeners to take away from all of this?
I think his core message is that you already have everything you need to live an extraordinary life. You have unique talents, passions, and experiences that have shaped who you are. It's about tapping into that power within and using it to create a life that you love.
It's so easy to forget that we already have everything we need within us. Sometimes it just takes a little reminder, a little push to tap into that power.
It's so true. And speaking of tapping into that inner power, there's one more thing Weaver talks about that I think ties everything together beautifully. He actually gets into this whole meaning of life thing.
Okay, now we're getting existential. Did he have some sort of grand revelation? Did he, solve the meaning of life?
Well, he frames it in a way that I think a lot of people can relate to. He talks about this period in his life where everything felt like it was changing. His sons had gone off to college, and he was feeling this sense of loss, almost an emptiness. He even calls it an existential crisis.
I can see how that would lead to some deep reflection. When one chapter closes, you start to wonder what the next one holds.
Exactly. And just like anyone going through a major life change, Weaver starts searching for answers. He mentions traveling, exploring spirituality, even diving into philosophy.
Sounds like he went on quite the journey. So what was the verdict? Did he crack the code of the meaning of life?
Weaver's conclusion is that the meaning of life is for each of us to figure out for ourselves.
Okay, fair enough. But I'm guessing his personal exploration led him to some sort of guiding principle.
It did. He realized that for him, the meaning of life is to live it at full power.
To live life at full power. I like that. It's simple, but it's powerful. But what does that actually look like? How do you live life at full power?
Well, he connects it back to those three promises we've been discussing.
Ah, right. Taking out our nails, following our energy, and going all in.
Exactly. Taking out your nail means identifying and removing the obstacles that are preventing you from living authentically. Following your energy means aligning yourself with what truly excites you, what makes you feel alive. And going all in means committing fully to that path, without reservation.
So living life at full power is about living with purpose, with intention, and with passion. It's about embracing all that life has to offer and not letting fear hold us back.
Precisely. And Weaver believes that we all have that power within us. It's just a matter of tapping into it.
I love that. This whole deep dive has been so inspiring. It's such a good reminder that we have the power to shape our own lives, to live with purpose, and to truly make a difference.
He leaves us with a final question, something to reflect on. What if the meaning of life is to live yours at full power, driven by the very energy of your soul?
That's something I'll be thinking about, for sure. And hey, who knows, maybe this deep dive has sparked something in you too. Maybe it's given you the tools to uncover your own meaning and to start living your life at full power.